won't stop doing bad crap. Logan Paul needs to grow up and start behaving like a responsible role model and business person. Guys, I did not think I would be making yet another video about Logan Paul today. I thought I would be on a Logan Paul hiatus or vacation, but no, your boy Logan Paul just can't stay out of the news for all the wrong reasons. So if you're not in the loop, let me read to you what happened at 4 a.m. this morning. So YouTube, which is no longer Logan Paul. YouTube used to be Logan Paul's platform, but now YouTube is clearly not. YouTube is now distancing itself increasingly from Logan Paul himself. So let me read what they tweeted out at 4 a.m. from their YT creators account on Twitter. So in a statement given to The Verge and also on Twitter, a YouTube spokesperson said, after careful consideration, we have decided to temporarily suspend ads on Logan Paul's YouTube channels. This is a decision we made not lightly, this is not a decision we made lightly. However, we believe he has exhibited a pattern of behavior in his videos that makes his channel not only unsuitable for advertisers, but also potentially damaging to the broader creator community. Now, they went on to clarify to the publication The Verge that the reason for this ad suspension is that YouTube says his infractions include trying to monetize a video that violates the company's advertiser-friendly guidelines, encouraging his followers to do the Tide Pod Challenge, and, in one recent video, taking a fish out of his pond jokingly to give it CPR and then tasering a dead rat. So basically, Logan Paul has learned nothing about disrespecting the dead, for starters. First, he disrespected a suicide victim, and now, unfortunately, he's disrespected a dead rat. That said, on the scale of severity, my personal opinion is that if you eat meat, and this is the only time I think where the argument applies, really, can you take any moral high ground against shooting something that's already dead? I don't know. I mean, I guess it is abnormal to play with dead animals. I never would. When I watched the vlog of Logan tasering the dead rat, did I think it was something I would want to be around or a part of? No. Did I gasp? Yes. Did I think it was gross? Certainly. But do I think that it's on the scale of, disrespecting a dead person who didn't consent to be filmed? I'm going to be perfectly honest, guys, and say not so much. That said, some people are saying that, oh, well, maybe Logan Paul is a psychopath because only a psychopath would play with dead animals. But I absolutely disagree with that because psychopaths usually torture live animals, not dead animals, because they like to see the animal suffer. But once an animal is dead, it's clearly not going to suffer. But it is weird to play with it. It's unusual, but I don't think it's psychopathic. If Logan Paul starts torturing kittens, okay, he's a psychopath. Though I have to admit that I am starting to think and feel more and more that Logan Paul isn't quite normal. I wanted to give him a second chance. I wanted to give him a third chance. I love the good that he's done, and I love his creativity, his commitment, his passion, and his power and his influence. However, I don't like the artistic and creative choices he makes. I think he is irresponsible. I think he's a daredevil and a thrill seeker. If you want to say that that's psychopathic or antisocial behavior, okay, that's a bit of a stretch. But yes, definitely Logan Paul has a lower threshold for what is morally unacceptable than a lot of us, and also risk-wise, like I said, he's just willing to go places and to do things that most of us would never, ever do. I'm actually shocked right now that there's only 5 people watching this. Maybe people don't care about this news anymore. Maybe this has become like so routine to people that it's no longer shocking. Here, hold on. Let me see if I can share this, guys. What are your thoughts of Logan Paul getting his ads removed? And I want to get to what that means for creators in general, because I actually worry that this, as usual, is not going to just affect Logan Paul. This is going to affect the rest of us creators who are just doing our jobs and not doing things like tasering dead rats or playing with dead fish or joking about the Tide Pod Challenge, which admittedly I did, but I told people clearly to never do it. And that YouTube is going to restrict even greater numbers of people from being part of its YouTube partner program. And that's not a good thing. That's a very negative thing, because it just means that a job that once existed and an opportunity that once existed for YouTube creators is going by the wayside unless you really play it safe. And I mean, usually artists only get ahead by not playing it safe, so it's kind of a conundrum, right? And we deserve to have a diversity of voices and artists on the platform. It can't just be cooking videos or makeup videos or computer repair tutorials, you know? Like, there has to be some room for comedy and edgy comedy and pranks and dares, so long as nobody's life is put in danger. And I don't know, that we're not creating more social negativity than positivity. So just one second, guys. I'm just going to try to share this because it's like there's only 5 of you here. Normally, when I talk about Logan Paul, it's like summoning the masses. I want to know what the Logang thinks about this. Let's just share this on. Oh, did that? Whoa, that took me away. YouTube, could you fix your buttons, please, so that when I hit share, it doesn't close the app? Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to go to comments now because I'm going to be repeating this, I think, a bunch of times as I wait for other people to show up. If you are watching this right now, my name is Davison. I host this show, Davison After Dark, though clearly it's very bright out today, which is a live interactive talk show shot in my living room, straight to yours, typically in front of the fan wall. I see we have another person joining us. Is that person from Twitter? So Andrea said, advertisers are working hard to control content on YouTube just as they do in the mainstream media. I agree. And I think that PETA certainly helped the suspension of Logan's ads, because PETA made a huge uproar over the fact that he tasered a dead rat and said that animals are to always be respected, and when you mistreat a dead animal, it's basically reinforcing that people just think that animals are inferior and that they're toys, and that as a role model to young children, Logan really needs to stand for more appropriate and respectful and kind behavior. And I agree, it's not kind to disrespect a dead mouse, but I still think that anybody who eats meat is a hypocrite, because cows are tasered. Cows have bolts shot through their heads. Chickens are beaten before you eat them. So you can't go screaming that Logan Paul's a psychopath when you're a psychopath every time you swallow meat that's on your plate. And that's not me saying this as like a hardcore vegan. I usually don't side with PETA, but I do understand the argument that, you know, come on, like in terms of severity of acts and cruelty, it's hard to be cruel to something that's dead, and it's hard to be considerate a transgression when you yourself are a meat eater. So Owen says he's not even crazy. Yeah, I mean, I said this earlier in the broadcast. I don't believe Logan Paul is a psychopath. I don't believe he's a sociopath. Does he have maybe some sociopathic traits? Perhaps, but we all sort of do to different or varying degrees. If he starts torturing live rats, if he starts torturing live fish or whatever, yes, then maybe we should start to believe that he's a psychopath. But doing a crazy act for the sake of entertainment value and shock value on his vlog because people want only exciting content, I mean, that's more proof positive that perhaps reality television and reality vlogs are a psychopathic art form, and that the audience demands are sometimes psychopathic than the actual actor is psychopathic himself. I mean, I think we're all fucked to a certain degree at this point by the media, in the media, as creators, as consumers of media. And people are blind to their own biases and hypocrisy and the glass houses in which they live, right? And back to what I was saying before, how this is going to impact other creators. YouTube is just going to become more and more strict, more and more reactive, and more restrictive for the rest of us, and that is a bad thing. When people cry for people like Logan Paul, the biggest platforms or biggest creators on the platform, to be punished. And that's so bad. I mean, censorship, right? There's a line at which crying for censorship becomes a negative force that has a terrible trickle-down effect. So Alden says hi. Javier says hi. Owen says he's not even crazy. I said that before. So Asparagus says, Davison, I think you should look for a new YouTube boyfriend. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like I was saying that I've given him several chances so far. And now I have to admit that I'm starting to think that he is problematic and can be very immature. And maybe I should take certain things that he's chosen to do recently as, you know, signs that he's not someone that's good to associate with. I mean, I know YouTube certainly has. It's complicated, guys. Okay, so let's go back to your comments. So Asparagus says, you look lovely today. You just woke up. Well, I woke up a couple hours ago, but thank you for saying I'm lovely. It's due to my makeup. It's due to me talking about my favorite topic on YouTube, which is clearly Logan Paul of late. I have said Logan Paul more than any other YouTuber's name ever. And I think a lot of other YouTubers can say that as well. Here's a good option. Boogie2988 just got a divorce. So Javi says, what is this channel about? Well, this is my channel where I go live every single day talking about a variety of topics in the news, and I also do fun, creative, crazy things. Like the other day I did interactive face painting and body painting for $5 per painting on myself via super chat tips. So it's a bit of a mixed bag on this channel, but what is consistent is that I always go live. I try to talk about what's trending, and I try to make it interactive with the audience that joins me. My main channel is about trying the weirdest trends on the internet and sexy comedy. So this is not, it's not a sexy here. Even if we are talking about Logan Paul, though his sexiness, as I said before, is diminishing. Is he gonna kill dogs next? Said Raspergu. No, I don't think so. I really don't think he's crazy. I just think that he's definitely different than the average human being. He definitely does things that the average human being wouldn't do. But I really don't think that he's lost his mind. Though I'm sure, too, that fame is a very traumatizing experience. He just got his house broken into. People forget that. He found a guy sleeping on his living room sofa charging his phone. And he's had to beef up security at his residence. I mean, that can't have a good effect on anyone. I got a lens stolen from my apartment a couple weeks ago, and that really threw me for a loop for a little while. So I can't imagine having my house not just having stuff stolen from me, but having my house invaded. And he looks worn down. Like in his last vlog, Logan Paul looks frustrated and upset and didn't make a huge effort because of the home invasion. And he is going to press charges. He was originally not going to press charges on the guy, but he decided to because he can't set a precedent of tolerating that kind of behavior. But it's going to be very interesting, guys, to see where Logan Paul goes from, excuse me, to see where Logan Paul goes from here. I mean, is he going to do another apology video? Is he going to sit down with PETA now? Is he going to have to sit down eventually with every organization that fights for marginalized people and creatures by the time he's done with the platform? And guys, I'm going to put this question out there. If you were Logan Paul, what would you do? Now, see, he has multiple options because he really does have a huge fan base, okay? And he's getting a ton of media attention to a level that literally no other YouTuber has ever experienced. Even PewDiePie has never gotten as much consistent media coverage as Logan Paul. Hello, Minecraft player. So Peter Griffin says he's on the radar. He should have known that he had to behave himself. Okay, so I think that either he has to just keep being himself and make his own platform, which his huge fan base would follow him to, and maybe he could extend that invitation to other creators that feel very censored by YouTube's platform and very abused by overly demanding advertisers. Or he starts to play nice and finds a way to make exciting content without doing acts that could be harmful, dangerous, illegal, or disrespectful. But I think as a comedian, you're never going to please everyone. Really, you aren't. You aren't. You can't. You can't, because part of making someone laugh is to shock them, is to provoke them. So I don't know. I don't know. Guys, what do you think? Should Logan Paul start his own platform? Maverick Videos, or I don't know what he would call it. Vlogan? I don't know. Vlogan. Vlogan.com. I do like your channel. Okay. So Minecraft player says, Logan Paul got arrested by Content Cop, but I forgave him. I will always like him. Maybe Logan Paul needs someone like you to give him advice. Well, I'm sure he's hearing this already from YouTube, from his manager, from his father, from his mother. I mean, I would be like, actually, you know, honestly, if I was Logan Paul, I would actually be shocked that I got my ads removed for disrespecting a dead rat, because someone made this point on Twitter, that Logan Paul films a suicide victim, and he just gets removed from Google Preferred and temporarily suspended, and loses his YouTube Red show, but it takes a dead rat for YouTube to actually remove his ads. Like, this is kind of weird. And then someone's like, maybe someone who is a member of PETA works for YouTube. I guess we know now too, based on recent events, that YouTube not only sides with advertisers, but they are very, very social justice oriented. So if you do anything that could be construed as harming other human beings or animals, or something that could be copied by younger children and taken as you being a bad role model with too much power, then YouTube will flag you, strike you, remove your account privileges, and turn their backs on you. And it used to be that YouTube, so long as you were successful numerically and with subscribers, they would continue to support you, but that doesn't appear to be the case anymore. And I do believe also the follow-up from this is going to be that YouTube's going to be reviewing everyone's channels and axing probably 70% of people from the partner program. And please, YouTube, can you let me survive? I've got all these, no, you don't care about my fans. I guess I'll join Logan Paul's new video platform if they axe me. I don't want to be axed, but I've never tased a dead rat. I've never tortured anything other than men, that they liked it. They asked for it. I've tortured myself. Maybe I deserve a strike for torturing myself for 10 years on YouTube. Maybe he wants out of his contract, says Peter Griffin. Possibly. That's smart. So maybe he's using YouTube. Minecraft player says, no, Logan Paul should F off from YouTube. He's a butch. I don't know. Again, I still see entertainment value to some of his content. I still think it's very well produced. I still think he's a charismatic and funny host. I just think that he goes too far and he's a bit of a dunderhead. But it's a double-edged sword, because he needs to do daring, bold, stupid things in order to be entertaining, but equally that causes him and other people and his channel harm. So how do you balance both? It's like me. I get more views when I'm sexy, but then I make YouTube angry at my channel and I get demonetized, and then put my channel at risk for future, maybe channel-wide demonetization. So how do I strike a balance? I mean, the way I've chosen to do it is kind of like Logan Paul starting his own video platform. I now have paid patrons on Patreon. And if you want to see my uncensored content, you pay for it, and nobody censors me on Patreon, or sorry, on Patreon, on Patreon or on Vimeo. YouTube, or not YouTube, Logan could also go to Vimeo. They have different rules there. But I think he would be better building his own video platform at this point. I really do. And maybe still uploading to YouTube just to get the residual traffic, But I guess that would be taking a pretty firm stance as competition to YouTube, and they probably would play a lot, even a lot worse with him should he do that. But I'm actually shocked that no major YouTuber has decided to launch their own platform yet, because PewDiePie could do it, Logan Paul could do it. I even think to a certain degree Casey Neistat could do it, and nobody's had the, wanted to go down that route yet. Maybe because it's extraordinarily expensive to host and stream video, and it's very difficult to get advertisers on board. But I mean, if Twitch did it, why couldn't a YouTuber do it? I don't know. Talk to me. Logan wants to make the move to be an actor. I don't think that's true entirely. Maybe in part. If I was Logan Paul, I would retire. No. Well, you clearly do not have the passion for online media or acting or building a clothing brand as Logan. I wouldn't retire. I've never retired. I'm still fucking here 10 years later, even though I've had strikes and been treated unfairly, but then been treated kindly and been criticized and insulted and abused, because like my natural state is to create and to share it with the world and to have conversations with people like you who are watching. So even if YouTube terminated my channel tomorrow, I would still create on another one, because that's just, that's who I am as an artist. So I think Logan at his heart actually is an artist and a business person. He just needs to grow up and make better choices if he wants to still succeed on YouTube. If he doesn't want to succeed on YouTube and just cares about his popularity and making a splash in the media, then maybe he should just keep being himself and start his own thing and charge for access. I'm sure there would be a lot of people who would pay to see Logan Paul's content on a site on his own site. I met Logan yesterday. You did not meet how did you meet Logan yesterday? I don't know if I believe that Minecraft player. I met Logan yesterday. I talked to him and he said he was embarrassed for what I said to him. Well, what did you say to him? But I don't believe you met him, but I guess I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. So guys, nobody said anything. What do you think about Logan Paul starting his own YouTube-like platform, or any other YouTuber finally making that move and make a site that has less censorship, well, it still has reasonable community guidelines, and that pays maybe creators more fairly and treats them more fairly? I mean, back to what I was saying, though, I don't think Logan Paul's a victim in all of this. He really should have known better. I don't know. I didn't pay attention to what he'd done to the fish. Someone said that he did take a fish that was actually alive out of the water briefly to watch it gasp for air. That is sadistic if he did do that. I can't get behind that. But yeah, maybe Logan, I don't know. Maybe Logan Paul isn't psychopathic, but maybe he's a little sadistic for the sake of comedy. And he's masochistic too, I think. I don't know. You're a college student, says Minecraft player. So with the K review said, do you think the suicide video could be faked? I think this because it was too convenient for him to find it. Yes, of course it could be faked. You can make something look like a corpse quite easily. I mean, it might cost a couple grand, but to him, a couple grand is absolutely nothing. And of course, he always wants his vlogs to be as entertaining as possible. So of course it could be faked. Was it probably faked? Probably, I don't think so. I really don't think so. If you go into a forest that's called the suicide forest, your chances increase exponentially that you're going to find a dead body. Asparagus says, Logan Paul's fan base is mainly teenagers who are crazier than him. Well, they're more immature than he is. Absolutely. And so he plays to that. He plays to their limited understanding of the world and their immaturity and their desire for watching an older person misbehave, because he behaves in ways that mom and dad would tell them no. And it's always funny to watch someone do things that it's like, no, it's shocking. Don't do that. That's bad. Oh my God. But you get excited when you see someone doing something that's clearly wrong. And Logan Paul knows this, and that's what that's the principle pranks are constructed upon or built upon. So that's why he does it. So I was in Logan Paul asking college students, I thought it was only news show he asked me. So what did you say to him? So Alden says, if there's pressure on YouTube to censor and moderate from some outside source, I'm sure, if there's pressure on YouTube to censor and moderate from some outside source, okay, you were finishing my thought because I was like, well, I don't understand what you're saying. I'm sure if a creator made their own platform, they would be influenced in the same way. Well, back to, yeah, because if it's based on advertising revenue, unfortunately, advertisers are only willing to advertise against certain types of content, and they're becoming more and more concerned with their image on social media these days in unprecedented ways. Mainly because I think sometimes it's a bit of a manipulative power play wherein advertisers will demand money back from YouTube, having had their ads already run, and they're then able to cite, well, it was against something objectionable, and they get a refund. So they're double dipping. They get the benefit of advertising, but then they don't have to pay for it. And I think YouTube is very aware that not every business scams, but a lot of businesses scam if they can, or they exploit loopholes, and that's a clear loophole. So what is YouTube left to do but make stronger advertiser-friendly guidelines and take very decisive, perhaps even very strict actions when people violate what could be seen as something that is ad-friendly or ad-friendly guidelines. So, yeah, I guess if you were to start your own platform, then yeah, you would be beholden to advertisers and their bullshit. And it's also getting past the point where your site's so obscure, and you're also competing against Facebook and YouTube, and they will do everything in their power to discourage people from visiting your site. And they have a ton of ways of censoring your site out of existence. And of course they abuse that power. They're not supposed to because of antitrust laws, but they will, and they do. So yeah, I guess it would be a huge uphill battle. But that said, maybe if Logan Paul were to build a video platform just for himself, he definitely could get away with whatever he wanted. And he definitely could probably charge everyone at least $5 a month. And I'm sure millions of people would pay for it. Yeah, but I mean, I guess at 1 million people at $5 a month, that's only $5 million. Which I guess isn't bad. But, so Peter says, in my opinion, he's given a script. So you're like a high-level conspiracy theorist. Like, you think this is all scripted and staged and carefully chosen drama in order to just get Logan in the news and keep him in the news. I don't know. I don't think life is that orchestrated. I really don't. I have a hard time believing that. I mean, most people do not operate on that level of manipulation, and I would be even more inclined to believe that he's a sociopath if he did that. Disney, really? Does he still have a relationship with Disney? I thought that ended. Disney's creepy. Man, from what I know about that company, they're creepy a little bit. It's the mafia. Jesus Christ, Peter Griffin. I don't know. I mean, this is the most shocking news of the day. I highly doubt in terms of like platform drama, there will be anything that is more shocking than Logan Paul temporarily losing his ads. It's impossible. And I'm not one of the people that's cheering for this. I just think it's a sad state of affairs. I don't know. I don't know. And it'll just fuck everyone, not just Logan. Okay, so going back to your comments. I feel like I've run out of things to say about this. We're 30 minutes in and I just don't know what else to say. I want to speak about this at length, but I think I've covered almost everything. So I'm just reading your comments. Andrea says, creating another YouTube is pretty much impossible. It would take billions and billions to do it. Well, no, not necessarily, because Twitch did it, and then Twitch was acquired. Didn't cost Twitch billions to compete with YouTube, and they're doing a pretty fucking good job of it now. I mean, now they've been acquired by Amazon, but please don't cry over Logan Paul. He's dead. Oh, I'm not crying over him at all. At all. No, hell no. I'm more worried about what's going to happen to the rest of us on YouTube. Rosemary said, how do you think YouTube should have handled this situation if you don't agree with this? Well, no, I didn't say that clearly. I don't, you know, I mean, I'd said at the beginning of this broadcast, I do think that people are overreacting to tasing a dead animal. Do I think it's creepy and gross? Yes. But if you eat meat, you are in no position to be like, oh, it's so terrible, it's torture to taser a dead animal. No, the animal's already dead. And Logan Paul is simply behaving in a way to be as controversial or shock-inducing as possible in order to entertain his audience. So his art form is a little bit psychopathic, not him. And the audience's expectations of him are a little bit psychopathic. So people want to be aroused, and I'm not saying that sexually, when they watch something. And the way you do that is by increasing the stakes or increasing the tension in a video. So how should YouTube have reacted to this? Maybe just demonetize that video. I mean, they're strong arming him into, I guess, being a more considered brand-friendly creator. I don't know. YouTube's just been so like on this reactive spiral lately, and it's just going to trickle down to all of us. That's what I'm afraid of. And it is tricky. And I did say before that part of the reason they're doing it is because of pressure from advertisers. And advertisers know there's a loophole that if they see their ads have run against objectionable content, they will demand a refund from YouTube, and they're entitled to that refund. So YouTube is losing money twice, and advertisers are still benefiting. So yeah, it is absolutely tricky. I mean, I think Logan Paul encouraging his fan base to do the Tide Pod Challenge was a joke. So they can't, like, don't attack comedy. And there has to be some lenience for comedy. And there has to be some understanding of what is comedic versus what is a true statement or intended as a statement that is factual. And I think comedians and pranksters are really going to get caught in the crossfire here. But I don't know. You're right. It is tricky. I don't know if you're still watching, Rosemary. Yeah. I think they should have demonetized that video and maybe spoken to him again about it. But it just, I don't know. I'm just also concerned. Why is it negative press that YouTube is always so obsessed with? Why, because of PETA, did this happen? Was it just because of PETA? Was this in the works for a month? Was this encouraged by other YouTube creators? Like, I don't know what happened behind the scenes. But if it is just the bad press from PETA, YouTube can't always react every time there's bad press, because there's always going to be bad press about the most powerful sites and people. It's just the nature of the way people gossip, the nature of it's easier to criticize than it is to celebrate. And people love to turn things into black and white issues online, on social media, and in life, as opposed to seeing them for the nuanced things that they are. It is dangerous to taser anything, right? Even his use of a taser gun is irresponsible, because people have died from being tased, because it puts your heart into an arrhythmia that it can't recover from, right? So I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe they did do the right thing. I don't know if Rosemary's still here. Guys, have I been handling this okay? Because I really do feel like I'm rambling. It is early for me. I did stay up really late broadcasting. Yesterday I made a video. I started production on another video. I was on the radio, live streaming there. I came home, I live streamed again. So I don't feel like I'm being as articulate as I could be about this. And it just feels repetitive what I'm saying at this point. Like, I guess YouTube did the right thing, and it's sad for everyone. So, okay, so Rosemary said, so far, great explanation and opinions came from you. Thank you, Rosemary. Thank you for being here. I like it when I have women here, because I love my men, but I usually only have men, so it's nice to have a girl in the room. Another lady represent. Oh, I am I'm fatigued. I'm fatigued. Yeah. I just wish he could do better things with his channel. I have to do another, that reminds me, I have to do another episode of Doing Good with Davison where I do good in a vlog weekly. My last one, I donated jackets to the Salvation Army. I think I need to, I have so many videos too, but I need to sit down and write letters, inspirational letters to children in Flint, Michigan. So I'm going to do that. So if Logan Paul's going to be an asshole, I'm going to stand for the right thing by not being one and encouraging other people to do the same. And I hope Logan Paul follows me. Hi, Naranjan. Hi, Face Your Fear. Peter says you're too smart. Well, I don't suppose no. I don't think I'm that smart. I think I'm fairly smart. Maybe part of it is just experience because I'm older. I think you play game. What do you mean, Naranjan? Oh, hi, Shalendra. Shalendra, is your parrot here today? Can you make your parrot say, Logan Paul is an asshole? Logan Paul is an asshole. One large asshole, please. By the way, I own Large Seed on Instagram. So if you go to instagram.com/largeseed, I post bird memes. So Shalendra, can you send me a meme of your bird and I can post it on Large Seed? Logan Paul's an asshole. So, Shakiba Frost says, my mom loves him. My dad likes what I do. Javier says, I have to go. I'll be back tomorrow. Regards from Montreal. Bye, Javier. I feel like I have Logan's face is wild. Is it? I think his face is handsome. I think he has beautiful eyes. I think he has a nice smile. His crooked teeth are cute. He's got a nice jaw. He's got a beautiful neck. He's tall. He's got a beautiful body. Physically, I have zero complaints. He's nice ears about Logan Paul. And that's why I've been biased, because I find him physically to be a tasty specimen. I would, if you want to atone for your sins on YouTube, Logan Paul, come visit Davison. We'll have a day where you can worship me, and that will absolve you of all your sins on the platform, Logan. Now I'm getting creepy. I'm going to get suspended. All my ads are going to be removed from YouTube for soliciting Logan Paul for dirty times after he's been a bad, bad boy. No, I'm joking. No more. Offer rescinded. Logan Paul, once you're demonetized on YouTube entirely, I can't associate with you anymore. My professional self-preservation overrides any desire I have for you physically. Peter Griffin says he's a Viking. I suppose he kind of looks a little like a Viking. Can I respond to you, please, says Minecraft Player. I don't know how to respond to you. I feel like you're funny, but I feel like you're just kind of shit posting, bro. So Shakib says, my mom loves Logan Paul. My dad likes him. What do I do? Well, you should just not watch Logan Paul if you don't support his content and if you think he's a giant jerk. I think enough people are calling on YouTube to enact sanctions against him that they will continue to do so if he continues to misbehave. I think some people are delighting too much in seeing his downfall and encouraging his downfall, and I think it's hypocritical, and I think it's a bit of a blood sport, and it's unfair, but people always assassinate stars in the media because they don't truly mean it. They're just letting off steam, which I think is psychologically unhealthy. And it's easy to criticize when, you go with your emotional reactions instead of approaching any specific individual logically and fairly and in a balanced, nuanced way. But nuance is lost in emotional reactions, usually. And I just feel that those kinds of reactions are kind of unevolved and uninteresting and unfair. And I see it from both sides because I know what it's like to be a creator. I know what it's like to be criticized in a way that's excessive, extreme, unfair, and untrue. But I also see why some people that have done bad things deserve to be held accountable publicly. And I see how it's easy to do so. So you think Logan Paul's trying to move out of the spotlight for his brother? No, I don't think so. Nuance is lost in this society. Well, nuance is lost, again, nuance is lost in human beings since the dawn of time. There's been witch hunts since the dawn of time. Has this started to turn into a bit of a witch hunt against Logan Paul? Yes. But is he still doing things that put him in a bad position? Yes. So he's sort of partially responsible for perpetuating the witch hunt, which he should be very well aware is occurring since the Suicide Forest vlog. I have my evil trench coat on, by the way. This is what I wear as I'm plotting the downfall of Logan Paul into my bed. Yes. And I hate people when people say stuff like, oh, get a real job. No, we'll have to get a real job. Oh, no, he's going to face punishments like an employee would. Well, no, okay, yeah, well, wait, pick a side. You either believe YouTube isn't a real job, or you believe that it is a job and our boss is YouTube itself. Neither one of which is entirely true. YouTube is not our boss, but they do have platform rules. Maybe in certain cases they can become a creator's boss, like in the case of making a YouTube Red series, because then you're an actor and you're under contract. But YouTube, I mean, creating videos, going live, making thumbnails, building an audience, entertaining that audience, writing metadata, these are all very tedious duties of a very real job. And anything that generates revenue through labor is a freaking job, labor or service. So shut up about taking glee and thinking, and that's because people think that YouTube is an easy job. That's why they're happy when YouTubers lose money or a YouTuber screws up and they can say, well, you never really had a real job anyways, because they're envious and they think that this is just like a walk in the park. It's easy. They don't understand what the job entails. And they wish that they had the freedom they think that YouTubers have, when in reality there are advantages and there are just drawbacks to our job, like any other job. Peter said, did you hear about the guy who broke into his house? Yes, I did. I talked about that at the beginning of the vlog, and I said that he seemed rather traumatized and tired in that vlog. It seemed like he wasn't lying, that he was being very real, and that he was very upset. He even said that he had cried after the guy was taken away, which I believe. And I think that Logan's life has been really fucking stressful the last month and a half. And he went from 2 years of glory to a month and a half of pretty much shit since his visit to Japan. And I would feel very fragile, I know, if I was in his position. I mean, I felt fragile after I went viral the first time on my main channel. Going viral is like an insane experience because like all of a sudden you're everywhere in the media. Your friends are contacting you saying, hey, I saw you on TMZ. The media is asking for interviews. You're getting offers to license your content. People are wanting more from you and you don't know how you can deliver anything that's quite as good as what just went viral. And you're excited because you're finally seeing a massive amount of success. So imagine experiencing that like every single day for 2 years like Logan Paul did, and then add to that doing something that was maybe not that much worse than what you'd already done, but all of a sudden you're being criticized and held accountable for, and your content is being interpreted in ways that it never was before. And I can see how he is just not in a normal frame of mind, and how especially now, like he's seeing the dark side of fame, which is that you will get stalkers, you will have people that will try to steal from you, you will have people that try to backstab you, and the media, as much as it loves to celebrate winners, they always tear down its biggest stars. Maybe because they just want clickbait. That's the way the gossip media or the news media generates clickbait, is through negative press or focusing on missteps. Maybe it's just the cycle of human beings, is that like passion is easily converted into hate. What are you going to say when you meet Logan Paul? I don't know. I would want to talk to him. I don't know if I'm going to meet him, but I would want to talk to him and just be like, yo, dude, your life's crazy. Tell me your story. And maybe, hopefully, he is, you know, not respectful enough as a human being, but what's the word I'm looking for? He's reciprocal in his conversation habits, meaning like asks me about myself too, and it's not just all about him, because that gets a little boring. KSI responded to Jake and Logan. I watched it, the whole thing. It makes sense. It was amazing, which KSI said. Oh yeah, I only watched part of the KSI video because I was just like, it was funny. I thought it was funny, like showing the footage of Logan Paul's dad kissing a girl, blindfolded. What else? He said that they were gross. I don't know. He just said the usual criticism of the Pauls. I hope nobody tries to like hurt them physically. I mean, already they've had their homes invaded. I mean, what's next? Back to the witch hunts can quickly escalate and get out of control. I still don't think Logan Paul's channel deserves to be deleted. It really doesn't. Like it does warrant, I guess, this temporary demonetization, but he still hasn't done anything, in my opinion, bad enough to lose absolutely everything. But maybe this is his final chance, guys. I really do think it is. There's going to be no tasering of rats in his future, anything to do with anything that is dead. He won't be able to be an edgy meme lord anymore. You know, no jokes about shit like the Tide Pod challenge. No jokes about anything offensive, really. He's walking on really, 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 really thin ice. He's probably crying right now, guys. If I was him, I'd be crying. I would think that I partially deserved it, but I would think that I was being subject to harsh criticism, and it's unfair because not everyone's being subject to the same rules or the same harsh criticism, but it's because the spotlight is on him right now. So he has to endure, and he has to change his behavior until people forget about all the shitty things he's done. Or maybe he just always should, because that's the right thing to do. Alden says, how do we know if that rat was an evil rat overlord and if there was a history there we don't know about? I still think, like, while it's disgusting and gross to taser a dead animal, I still think that it's weird and it's shocking and it's shock comedy. But I just don't think you're doing something that's kind of wrong, but it's not so wrong that you deserve to go to jail for it. And not only that, it's a small rodent and it's dead. And he's just turning an experience of his dog bringing him dead animals into content. And basically his formula is like, okay, what's the funny thing you could do? Okay, take it up a notch. Or, okay, take it up 10 notches. And that's how you maintain the drama on your vlogging channel. So, Shalendra says, I think it's also fairly easy to be manipulated by the media. Absolutely. Or sorry, I think it's also fairly easy to be manipulated by the media. This could be picked on amongst the public and eventually by advertisers. And YouTube responds this by taking actions. Exactly, which is what I said before. There's a loophole wherein if an advertiser complains, they get a refund. So YouTube has to stand for advertiser-friendly content. Otherwise, it's giving advertisers ads or allowing advertisers to run ads essentially for free. It's a loophole to get free ad impressions. So they have to close the loophole by strengthening restrictions on what type of content can be monetized. I completely understand that now. So Shakib says, I think he got what he deserved. He got his channel saved, but he's dealing with a lot of problems. Exactly. Oh yes, we're not talking about micro sugar daddies today. I feel like it's not a broadcast wherein I should be soliciting tips. Nolan's probably sleeping right now, I imagine. I think he's in Europe. And thus eventually it's just about changing the platform's boundaries. It's just a thought. No, it makes sense. I think Logan's absolutely on his last chance. On YouTube. That's it. He fucks up one more time, he's gone. It's done. It's over. That's it. What a terrible position to be in. I feel like, you know, whenever I've gotten a strike, I feel like my life is ending. So I can't imagine having 2 strikes and facing the third. with the style of content that I know works with my audience and needing to change it. The rest of the world doesn't have a problem with killing rats. Well, yeah, I know. Back to like, I know. And he didn't even kill the rat. The rat was already dead. Just like the suicide victim was already dead. You know, he didn't kill. The people acted as if he killed the guy. No, he just disrespected him and acted awkward and weird and exploited a very serious situation. But the news media does that all the time too. Okay, they're kind of hypocrites. And people, as much as they say they hate Logan Paul for this type of content, they still read about it, they still talk about it, they still in some way are rewarded by drama and gossip. So same thing with the rat. He didn't kill the rat. The rat was already dead. His dog keeps killing rats. So what does he do? Well, a normal person would be like, in their vlog, they'd be like, oh my God, my dog. I would be like, my dog keeps killing rats. Look at this, is Kong. What's wrong with you, Kong? And like, you know, basically get a photo of Kong and then pretend to shake the photo of Kong because you don't want to shake your tiny little cute little dog. Then I would, you know, maybe I would turn that into a vlog, into a funeral for the rats. I'd be like, okay guys, so now we're doing a little craft. I'm going to make a little headstone out of this paper and our dear rat comrades have fallen, and so we need to give them a soldier's burial. And I'd get a little flag and I'd wrap them in a flag, and then there's like a million different ways to make that content non-offensive and respectful, but he chose he's always so physical with his comedy, guys. That's the thing, right? He breaks plates. I actually thought it was kind of irresponsible that he breaks plates in his vlogs, and then his little dog is running around. Like there was a moment in his vlog recently that his dog could have cut its little paws. And Logan does put other people in physical danger when he does these daring stunts or I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Like it's physical comedy, but it's kind of like risky physical comedy and shocking physical comedy. And it does take kind of a daredevil, thrill seeker, masochist, Steve-O type character to want to do that and to continue to do that. It's the stunt man, yeah. He broke a lot of plates in his vlogs, waste of time. Too many plates, that's way too bad, says Minecraft player. So Shakib says, Logan Paul donated $1 million to suicide savings stuff. What's your opinion about that? I mean, it was a kind gesture. It was definitely a PR motivated gesture. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure suicide prevention organizations do good. I think crisis helplines are certainly helpful. I think providing counseling to people who have lost others to suicide is helpful. Maybe providing free therapy and antidepressants to suicidal people is absolutely warranted and needed. I think psychotherapy is even more important personally than antidepressants. But does it absolve him of his crime of making light and exploiting a suicide for his own personal gain? No. How is he going to make up for the rat? Is he going to make a donation to the SPCA? I don't think so. Will Logan Paul get angry and rant? He hasn't done that yet. He's just said, oh, you're right, I was wrong, I was an asshole, but everyone deserves a second chance. So what is he going to say now? It'd be interesting to know what he's going to say now. I don't know if I would stand by my decision to tase the rat. New challenge, tasering rat challenge. If I put that up as a video, I would immediately get a strike now. You realize that, right? Anything to do with harming animals in a joking context now is going to be immediately removed from YouTube. In Mexico, they would have eaten the rat. That is not true, and that is racist. So Rosemary said, like faking his own murder in front of his fans should have been a moment that YouTube took some sort of action. Well, I guess because it was fictitious pranking and YouTube wasn't really that opposed to pranks at that point. It was within their community guidelines. So no, that kind of prank actually where you are the victim of the prank, I guess it could waste emergency services time. It could traumatize the people that see you get shot. But I guess part of me thinks that it's not that bad. He didn't get killed. He didn't hurt anyone but himself. He made himself the fool in that prank. He consented to make himself look as if he was dying. So I don't know. I don't feel like he hurt anyone in pretending to die in front of his window. Does that make any sense? That's my personal opinion. I see how you might be morally opposed to it. I see how you might think that It could re-victimize someone or trigger someone that's witnessed a death. I see how it could absolutely potentially waste emergency services time. I don't think anybody's going to develop post-traumatic stress disorder from seeing someone get fake shot and then later learning it's a prank. It could have been traumatic for those hundreds of kids, perhaps. But I do think there's some weird tendency in American culture to coddle people emotionally, yet provide them with media that is sensationalized, gory, graphic, and sexual. So there's like this like constant cognitive dissonance and hypocrisy of like, oh, this is so terrible. Think of the trauma. Think of the horrible feelings that these people experienced. Yet, oh, in Die Hard 9, watch as Bruce Willis explodes 80 humanoid robots. Biggest blockbuster film of the year. Exactly, or Call of Duty, the very violent video games. I'd worry more about a child repeatedly training themselves to be an expert sniper every day after school than seeing a staged, gory prank. Yeah. And yeah, I don't think coddling children and shielding children from everything or shielding young people from everything is healthy emotionally. I think you should explain reality and show reality to people. And like, I didn't protect my son from anything. I just was there as a parental figure to provide guidance and feedback. He's going to get exposed to it anyways. And why delay that exposure? Because then it's just delaying his interaction and negotiation of the real world, which is filled with gratuitous violence for amusement and entertainment purposes, and filled with graphic sex, you know, that's 2 clicks away. Do I condone graphic sex? No. Do I believe that violent media and violent video games have harmful effects? Yes. Same thing with very extreme pornography. I feel like pornography ruins intimacy between sexual partners. Sometimes it is a release, but it sometimes can ruin, you know, healthy sexual relationships. And I think that definitely violent media and violent video games desensitizes people to actual violence and trivializes it and gets kids interested in guns when they shouldn't be. When guns are tools that should be used rarely and held by almost nobody. I am very pro gun control though. But that said, I know when something is fiction and it's clearly labeled fiction and meant to be experienced as fiction. And I believe in freedom of speech and a lack of censorship. So it's like, it's complicated. And the world is one famine away from being a very barbaric place. You guys realize this, right? So training everyone to be soft-hearted and vulnerable and have no toughness and no emotional resilience is actually perhaps doing these children or everyone a disservice, because then they don't learn how to be fighters or self-protective or scavengers or know how brutal other beings can be when resources are limited. You know what I'm saying? It's like my parents being like, you're allowed to like basically kill your rapists. Like, you don't have to be nice to whoever tries to hurt you. And I understood that from a very young age, that if somebody tries to hurt you, you can give yourself permission to fight back. Although the rule number one is to, and again, I'm not saying do not kill anyone, but I'm just saying rule number one is that you get away from the situation. That's always the best course of action, is just to run away and say nothing and get the fuck out of there. But if that fails, you don't have to be a nice person anymore. You don't have to think about their feelings or their family. So Ayo says, I've played games since I was 5. I have no killer skills, explain. Well, I don't know. Seeking out your target, stalking your target, familiarity with automatic weapons and semi-automatic weapons. That's what these video games train. I mean, but yes, I know psychologically healthy people know the differentiation and can make a distinction between, again, fictional violence and simulated violence and actually committing an act of real violence, because most of us innately have empathy. Most of us innately are not sociopaths, even if we're desensitized to violence. And we're in this kind of unhealthy relationship unwittingly with certain types of violence. But that said, people should not be coddled, and people should understand violence and self-defense and other acts. In some countries, victims are forced to marry their rapist. That's very dark. Yeah, and I feel like what I just said is kind of dark. I'm not condoning any violent behavior, to be clear. I need to say that during this broadcast, just because it's a very touchy subject. My first game was Mario. Yes, Mario is very tame by today's standards. Mario, you kill what? Little mushrooms? You kill Bowser? So Mr. Fields says English-derived laws only allows self-defense. In the UK, we can't even hit someone with a stick during a home invasion. Yeah, I'm wondering what self-defense laws are in Canada. I'm actually uncertain. Social Lender says it's often hard to find the balance and set boundaries. They're getting developed and changed every time by several occasions, and I think we're all able to bring change to that to a certain extent. I agree. Okay, guys, it's been an hour. I'm enjoying hanging out with you guys, but I'm going to end this broadcast. Peter Griffin said this next generation is scary as F. Maybe I'll upload just like an opinion video about this whole thing. I don't know. It's just giving me pause. I just said this before. It's giving me pause about everything, and it just reinforces that I need to be really careful with the type of content I'll upload to YouTube. The fun, free days of the unmoderated web are over. Over. Here I am, like, banging my... Yeah, R.I.P. R.I.P. original YouTube. R.I.P. original web. Moment of silence for a change. Is Steeming any good? I'm still not using it. I'm so busy. I can't. I haven't even posted to Instagram this week. Rosemary said, laters, maybe don't use the tag Logan Paul might instantly get demonetized. Oh, it will. It will. I don't know whether or not to upload this. I feel conflicted. I didn't like what I said about hurting my rapist. I don't have a rapist. I've never been raped. More or less. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know anymore. Okay, guys, I'm really wasting everyone's time, but thank you all for being here, and thank you for subscribing. And Jordan says more or less selective. Well, there's different types of being taken advantage of. I've certainly been taken advantage of and put in bad situations and misused, but I've never been forcibly violated by a stranger, thank the fucking Lord in heaven. Yeah, like all women, I've experienced bad sexual treatment, but whatever. It's not the time to discuss that, nor do I feel like discussing it. Don't let it end. Stay for another hour. No, I can't. I'm ending this and maybe making an opinion vlog about it. And going outside and then doing the rest of my work. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. I will talk to you later.